Joining us right now to talk more about the huge decision from the High Court to overturn Roe is Bishop Robert Brennan of the Diocese of Brooklyn. Welcome, Bishop.
Thank you. I'm glad to be able to talk with you today.
Yes. So tell me, what does this decision mean for the pro-life movement within the church?
Well, I think what it does is it at least now allows us to have a conversation. So in a sense, at least in public debate, we were always shut down with, this is decided, using the term abortion is a right. It had a lot of consequences. It also gave governments the ability to intrude into people who were pro-life, to force people into providing for things that their conscience, they knew they were wrong. So this at least gives us the ability to talk about it. We have, for the pro-life movement, we have a long way to go to change hearts and minds.
And especially in New York, which is considered the abortion capital of the country. So how do we start that conversation? What do Catholics do to bring this up and maybe try to change somebody's mind?
Well, it's been happening over these last 50 years. More and more people are coming to see the reality of human life very early on in the pregnancy. We hold that that human life is there from the very, very beginning, from the moment of conception. But science is underlying that truth more and more. And so you are seeing something of a shift in society. You are seeing sort of like a middle ground where people, they might call themselves pro-choice, but they recognize that the abortion on demand is not right. And then there are other people who are just trying to figure it out, and the science leads you to say more and more, this is human life, and it's viable at a much earlier age than we ever thought possible. So I think one of the things we need to do is to continue those dialogues, to continue that understanding, and that provides for the transformation, that change of the culture. Change of law is one thing. Change of the culture, change of people's hearts and minds, that's the bigger and more important job for us to do.
Right, and when we saw the leak of the draft opinion, we saw a lot of opposition coming out. How do we as Catholics try to promote peace during this time?
Well, first of all, we're always going to be gracious about this, and by and large, the people in the pro-life movement, the Catholic Church's teaching is a joyful, life-giving teaching. So we want to maintain that. We want to remember who we are. We don't want to promote any kind of confrontationalism. However, we can't be afraid. We're not going to let fear hold us back from being the witnesses to the truth of human life, and the truth of human life created in God's own image at the beginning, at conception, through natural death, but also at every stage in between.
And speaking of that, the pro-life movement and the church have always been there for expectant mothers in need. So what would your message be to them today?
Precisely. The New York State bishops wrote about this very recently, and in a sense, what we're doing is renewing a commitment. We're not just making a new commitment. This has been there from the very beginning, but of the abortion legislation. And so one of the things we need to do with this legislative change is redouble our efforts in terms of our care, particularly for women in need during a time of pregnancy, but even well beyond pregnancy. Our pro-life centers, which do fantastic work, and one thing we have to do is really make sure we stand behind it. Second thing we need to do is we need to be a little clearer in our minds to help people to know where to go to get these needs.
Need to get the word
so we
out.
we need to get the word out. We need ourselves to be able to say, you're in need, okay, call this number. Somebody's going to be there and ready to answer that for you. And then thirdly, we just want to try to go beyond the time of birth. One of the things that pro-life gets accused of is, and this is not true, but we get accused of saying, okay, you're there to help bring the child to life.
The
but
baby's
then what?
born,
You're on your own. Well, that's not true. You look at groups like the Life Center or Bridge to Life. They're there to walk with the women, to walk with the families
throughout
and beyond. How do we help you to get on a path that now you can build a family
Right.
for this child.
Right.
Provide for your needs and their needs, and be able to do this, to stand on your own 2 feet. We're not trying to create a dependency.
Yeah.
What we want to do is prepare people for that new life.
And the support is there, and that's what we try to say every night. Brooklyn Bishop Robert Brennan, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Christine Persichetti, anchor of Currents News. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button on this video. And if you want to see more content just like it, subscribe and click on the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching, because we are putting your faith in the news.